Well, Trump just blew past. He just the one thing that we'll have to say about him is he said, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and my people wouldn't give a shit. He actually is an adjudicated rapist on Fifth Avenue. A court of competent jurisdiction, a judge said by any common definition of the word rape, you raped that woman.
This is the dressing room one?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that may have happened, but I mean...
But a jury in a court said it did.
That fucking means nothing to me, because I know what they know, which is nothing. They know two people said two different things about something that happened in the 90s and of which there's no witnesses or tape.
Well, you know
so
what?
I can't, look, I hate Donald Trump as much as anybody, but I can't say for sure I just know that. Just because 9 people said they think that, I can't.
First of all,
but yes.
they had more evidence. In other words,
did?
Yes. So she told me this happened.
What was the evidence?
Other people that she told contemporaneous with it.
Well,
which whatever. A jury said that, that he did.
What? You know more about this case than apparently I do, and maybe if I knew everything, I would be completely.
I know that a jury.
Yeah.
I tend to have more faith in those people. In juries, I think most of them really try to weigh what's there, and I do know that a jury. But now I get too technical here, but by a preponderance of the evidence,
right?
It's a little bit of a different standard in a criminal case. It's beyond a reasonable doubt.
I'm admitting I didn't know that there was like evidence. I just thought it was he said, she said. So
the conversation between Bill Maher and James Carville quickly turned into a heated exchange as they tackled the transformation of the Republican Party and the erosion of rational political discourse. Carville didn't hold back, arguing that while not all Trump supporters are racists, all racists tend to align with Trump, an assertion that sparked a fiery debate. He painted a picture of the GOP's shift from a party once rooted in business conservatism to one now dominated by populist, right-wing nationalism, where figures like Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy compete to outflank Trump by appealing to the party's most extreme factions. Maher, however, widened the discussion, taking aim at both ends of the political spectrum. He expressed frustration with the far left's obsession with ideological purity, arguing that their uncompromising stances mirror the tribalism of the MAGA movement. Both agreed that political decorum is in freefall, with Republicans increasingly viewing Democrats as a greater existential threat than foreign adversaries like Russia. Their clash underscored the grim reality of modern politics, where loyalty to party and ideology often takes precedence over logic, pragmatism, and meaningful debate. Don't miss this exciting video.
There is a genius to his madness, and the thing I always say about Trump, you have to remember, he's stupid and crazy, and they're two completely different things. And this is like the crazy part works for him because he's without a mechanism to edit or to pull back. So, as my friend Jimmy always says, insanity photographs. You can't take your eyes off him. Obviously, whenever they put him on TV, the ratings go through the roof. And that's why insane people are charismatic. You can't look away. So when he does all this, I mean, not just sexual stuff, but certainly the sexual stuff, it's like, I'm going to own. No one else in the world would even think of this as a strategy. And he has no strategy. It's just what he feels. He's all id. But to own that, to own being this kind of guy, and half the country likes it. Or at least it's not a deal breaker because they feel like it's honest.
At least he's honest. He says what he thinks.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to. And the thing really like is he tells you it's okay if you hate other people. He validates what that guy says. I like because he says what I think.
Well, he plays on the fact that his people think that your people hate them and look down on them and see them as deplorables. I mean, I think they take...
There's some truth to that.
Oh, there's a lot of truth to that.
And I'm as good a Democrat
as
the next person. But you hear this shit, so I don't know if we ever talked about this before, but the best example I've ever seen.
In a political landscape increasingly defined by tribalism, Bill Maher and James Carville's discussion on media and polarization serves as a sobering reflection of how far America has drifted from meaningful debate. Both commentators lament the rise of ideological purity tests, where political identity now functions as a rigid litmus test for social acceptance. The days of civil discourse, where opposing views could be debated in good faith, are fading, replaced by an environment where deviation from the party line is met with immediate hostility. Maher, a longtime critic of the extremes on both sides, argues that political engagement in America has devolved into an exercise in moral grandstanding. Instead of persuading or debating, individuals are more interested in virtue signaling to their respective factions. Whether it's the left enforcing ideological conformity through social activism or the right doubling down on nationalist rhetoric, the result is the same: an unwillingness to engage with those who think differently. Carville echoes this concern, pointing out that Americans are more obsessed with ideological purity than with the actual effectiveness of policies. He suggests that this obsession, fueled by media outlets that cater to hyper-partisan audiences, has made it impossible for politicians to take nuanced positions without facing backlash from their own side. The media plays a pivotal role in reinforcing these divides. Outlets that once prioritized journalistic integrity now thrive on outrage, delivering content that affirms existing biases rather than challenging audiences to think critically. In this climate, the goal is no longer to inform, but to enrage, ensuring that viewers remain locked in a perpetual state of political warfare. The consequences are clear: compromise is viewed as weakness, political opponents are treated as enemies, and the middle ground has all but disappeared. Both Maher and Carville recognize the dangers of this trend, but the question remains: can America reverse course? Can there be a return to a time when political debate was about policy rather than personal destruction? While their conversation highlights the severity of the problem, it also serves as a call to action. If Americans want a healthier democracy, they must resist the temptation to retreat into ideological bubbles, and instead embrace the uncomfortable but necessary process of engaging with differing viewpoints. The alternative is a nation permanently trapped in a cycle of division, where winning the argument matters more than solving the problem.
Public. Confesses to them. And like, I got rid of the FBI director because there was a lot of pressure on me. Like, yes, that's your interior monologue. There's a lot of pressure on me because the FBI is looking into me for good reason. You don't say, so I invited the Russians in. I mean, like, it's so beyond it. This is not...
Like the Russian ambassador showing him top secret shit. He was showing the guy at Bedminster, look at these...
But I mean, he does one a day, or he did when he was president, like something that only a nut would do. It's amazing to me that we lived through those 4 years, because when I look back on it, and of course the Trump people say, oh, you know, you have Trump derangement syndrome, and yeah, he blew up the world, right, Bill? I don't you know, you're right, he didn't blow up the world. I still think he could, okay? Is that completely crazy that I think a crazy person could blow up the world? No.
The shit that he did is like stunning.
I'm saying, no.
The documents case, if you stop and you think about it, like one time...
I could read 1,000 tweets that are just insane that just went by. I remember there was one that said he was mad at China, and he said, I hereby, like he's the king, I hereby order all American companies to immediately, you know, work on a plan to change your, he was like ordering them to get out of China. I hereby order. And again, that's just insane that nobody else would even think to do that. But he doesn't think. That's his insanity and his attraction to people.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, history eventually finds out. They find this asshole Pius XII. They found the letter where they told him they will gas him.
The Pope during World War II?
Yeah. All right, we know from history he's been outed, I guess is what you would say.
Right.
Do you think, when all the history is known, would you guess that the Russians have compromise on Trump, or that's just liberal fantasy?
No, I have always said that the Russian hoax theory is a hoax. Plainly, there was something going on between Russia and Trump. It was not perhaps, first of all, I always thought Mueller blew it.
James Carville is a political veteran who understands the brutal strategic nature of American politics better than most. His assertion that the enemies one makes in politics are just as important as the friends is a stark reminder of how power is wielded in Washington. In an era where political allegiances are treated like moral absolutes, Carville's perspective cuts through the noise. Politics is not about purity, it's about winning. And to win, you must understand not just who supports you, but who is against you. One of Carville's most pressing warnings to Democrats is that they cannot afford to underestimate Donald Trump. Despite his endless scandals, legal troubles, and controversial rhetoric, Trump remains an electoral force that defies conventional wisdom. His ability to connect with disaffected voters, particularly those who feel abandoned by the political establishment, makes him a formidable opponent. Carville recognizes that dismissing Trump as a political aberration is a mistake Democrats have made before, and if they continue to do so, they risk another major electoral upset. Carville's argument highlights a larger issue within the Democratic Party, the tendency to focus on ideological correctness over strategic pragmatism. While many Democrats celebrate policy victories in shifting demographics, Carville sees a potential blind spot. Trump's appeal is not rooted in policy details, but in his ability to channel resentment and anger into political momentum. He turns his enemies, whether they are Democrats, the media, or even members of his own party, into foils that reinforce his outsider status. This is why his base remains fiercely loyal, despite his failures in governance. For Democrats, Carville's message is clear. Winning elections is not about moral superiority, it's about understanding the battlefield. Trump is not invincible, but he thrives when underestimated. If Democrats fail to take his threat seriously, they could once again find themselves shocked on election night. In today's hyperpartisan political climate, knowing who your enemies are is just as crucial as knowing who your allies are. Carville's warning is a call to arms, one that Democrats would be wise to heed before it's too late. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this discussion and want to see more deep dives into politics, culture, and current events, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support helps us bring more insightful conversations and debates straight to you. The debates in yours. See you in the next one. And in you and so percent. I'd sound here to kill the shame to you and with. Otherwise, stay defeat to range you now.